Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Carrie and this is Book for Romance. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. I am so excited today, guys. I get to talk to you about FaRo Feb, Fantasy Romance February. I love this time of year where all the fantasy romance comes out. I'm so excited to give you guys my TBR. In case you don't know who started Fantasy Romance February, my girl H.R. Moore, who is an author, started Fantasy Romance February. And she decided to get a bunch of us together who loves fantasy romance. She decided to connect the authors with the readers, and we get to meet a lot of new fantasy romance authors this way, which I'm very excited about because we always have our trusty people we go to for fantasy romance, but it's really hard to find the new authors to connect with to enjoy this genre, I guess is a good way to put it. Before I get started, I just wanted to throw this out there. If you like any of this content, please give me some love and just like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into it. I just want to tell you guys how excited I am to be doing Fantasy Romance February. I'm excited because one, I get to host a reading sprint this year, so I'm excited about that. So February 12th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, come back to this channel, and I will have a couple of my friends on with me, and we'll be talking about fantasy romance and just doing reading sprints. So if that's something you're interested in, mark it in your calendars. So let's start getting into what I'm going to read for Fantasy Romance February. I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite genres, I would say, of all time, because I really did get into reading with fantasy romance. So with that being said, I'm excited to kick into it. Usually how I like to start these TBRs is I usually tell you what I'm reading for right now. The odds are it's gonna have me trickle this into February because I think it's a 5-book series. What I'm reading right now is Kiss of Steel by Beck McMaster. This is so good right now, you guys. Like, I have to admit, like, I'm pleasantly surprised. And it's really kind of interesting that I'm reading this right before February because it does have vampires in it and werewolves. So we have our girl Honoria, who is our main heroine, and she is in the rookeries right now. And unfortunately for her, her father had been murdered tragically for these journals. And now she is not only entrusted to keep these journals safe and away from the wrong hands, she also at the same time has to take care of her sister and younger brother. So Aurora finds herself in a spot where she's in dire need of money. So Aurora gets summoned by our hero Blade, and Blade is the king of the rookeries. He runs the rookeries, but he's also our vampire, and he's been infected by this like toxin. So I guess if you get infected by this toxin, you become a vampire, and eventually you lose yourself to the madness. But anyway, so our girl Aurora gets summoned by Blade, and Blade pretty much is like, in order for me to keep you safe, you need to give me something. So then they go and she says, okay, I will give you lessons in etiquette in order to keep me and my family safe. That's pretty much where it starts off at. It's really actually pretty cute. It's starting off really cute. I haven't gotten through it yet. This is book 1 of the 5-book series. The reason why I picked this up was because I got this, I think it was book 5 in Love in Las Vegas. And either it was Tiffany or Christy, or actually probably both of them, told me how great Beck McMasters was. So I was like, okay, I will give it a go. Then Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings ended up talking about book 1 and how much she loved it. So I was like, heck, it's time to give this one a go. I mean, the covers are so pretty. So I'm like, okay. So this is book 5. I haven't gotten to this one yet, but this should bring me in the first part of February. So that's what I'm starting with. The thing I'm going to read is 6 of Crows and The Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Okay, so me and my friends got together and we decided, hey, this is going to be our book club pick for the month of February. So you guys, we are doing a book club with these two because the Shadow and Bones second season is coming out March 16th. So we wanted to do a book club with these two books and then also talk about season 1. And we're going to do that on McKay's channel. All the information will be linked down below. So I think if you guys want to participate in this book club, you're more than welcome to. You have the whole month of February to read these two. And then I think on February 26th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We will go talk about these two books, and then we're going to talk about season 1 on McKay's channel. So I think her name is Oh Hey, It's McKay. So we were really excited to get this group together because I've always, ever since I started BookTube, wanted to do a book club with Six of Crows. I mean, it was literally one of the first ones that really hooked me into the whole fantasy romance experience. This is about a heist. I think it was described as like an Ocean's 11 meets like a fantasy world or something like that. We have our main guy, Kaz, and he is like the kingpin of the underworld, and he pretty much runs the show. Well, unfortunately, these unscrupulous men want something that had been taken back for them in this fortress that is impossible to break into. We have our team trying to break into this unbreakable fortress. It's really interesting. I loved it. The premise is amazing. I mean, honestly, if you haven't heard what Six of Crows is all about, please go check it out. It is so good. It's a 5-star read. It's a reread for me, and I'm really pumped about it. Okay, the next one we have is Between Wrath and Mercy by Jess Weisskopf. I think that's how you say it. I've been waiting for this one forever. It just came out on audio, and that's what I was waiting for. It sounds amazing. I think I got this one specifically from Jen from the Book Refuge. She swore by this one, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. I really do like her recommendations, especially when it comes to fantasy. It's pretty much about our main heroine, Emmeline. And Emmeline has a daughter who she has vowed to protect her whole life. She had figured out that her daughter might be a conductor for the goddess to bring peace. And so, unfortunately for her, the last conductor was brutally murdered. So she decided to take her and her daughter and decided to go into hiding for the last 16 years or something along those lines. And unfortunately for Emmeline, her daughter ends up getting kidnapped by a prince. So Emmeline is forced to come out of hiding, and she needs to enlist the service of the most powerful conducts of the 3 kingdoms. Unfortunately for her, that was the crown prince of Vespa, and apparently he's the one that ended up breaking her heart. So this one sounds really interesting. I'm excited. I'm here for it. I've been waiting a long time for this, and I'm excited to kick into it. The next one is Praying for Rain by B.B. Easton. I got this recommendation from Jess from Peace Love Books. She's been talking about this series for like the last maybe 3-4 years. I don't know. Whenever it came out, I know she read it. She loved it. I wanted to read it as well. I've never gotten a chance to just sit down and binge it. Now is my time. The premise I got from this was that it's an apocalyptic world, and pretty much everything is desolate. Like there's nothing left, and we have our main heroine and our main hero kind of fighting to survive. Unfortunately for them, things are happening where they're gonna get thrust together. I guess the world's crumbling, dangers are mounting, and things are happening, and they're gonna have to rely on each other. That's pretty much what I got as the premise of this book. I'm excited to kick into it. It should be a fun read. Okay, so the next one is The Daughters of No Worlds by Clarissa Broadbent. Is anybody surprised this is on my TBR? You guys shouldn't be, because it gives me so many Sarah J. Maas vibes, I can't even tell you. But her Throne of Glass series, which is really funny because her other series gave me the Court of Mist and Fury vibes. The premise is, I guess she was a former slave, and she ends up escaping in order to survive, but she ends up leaving her good friend behind. So in order to save her good friend, she ends up joining the order to help her improve her magic. But in order to join the order, she must apprentice for our hero. And I guess he's a fire wielder or something along those lines. And they end up maybe falling for each other. I don't know. It sounded amazing. I am excited, and I'm definitely here for it. So we'll see how that one goes. I know I'm going to love it. Like, I really did enjoy Clarissa Broadbent's The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And since I love that one so much, I have a feeling I'm gonna love this too. I'm really excited to kick into this one. This one I'm gonna read is Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I am really excited to read this one, guys. I can't even tell you, but before we get into like what this is about, look at this. Is this not the coolest thing ever? I had to show you guys. I'm sorry, like I'll take a minute to show you guys my special edition. But pretty much this one, it was so funny because Jesse the reader had read this one and he said it's enemies to lovers, but the romance, it was really heavy on the romance, and that's why he ended up giving it a low rating. And I'm like, oh, that sounds perfectly like up my alley, so I'm here for it. So it looks like she accidentally ensnares a curse on him, and she has to team up with the boy who dislikes her the most to make sure her magic doesn't end up hurting anybody. I thought that sounded so cute. I cannot wait to dig into this one. I hope it's everything I think of and more. I might be going into this with too high of expectations, but I can't wait to kick into this one. Okay, so the next one I kind of want to read as a new author. It's called A Court of Tricksters. This is by S.L. Prater, I think is how you say her last name. I'm so sorry if I totally messed that up, but I'm really excited about this one. You have a Fey Duke of the Night Court, and he does not believe in fated mates. Like, he believes he's gonna get a mate, but mating isn't for love, it's for duty and necessity. So I guess he meets our main heroine, Rain, and the Duke makes Rain an offer of some sort of marriage of convenience, which most of the ladies of the Night Court would jump at the chance to be with this Duke, apparently. But Rain is not interested. She wants nothing to do with that because she wants a match of the heart. So she wants to marry for love. She's not interested in a marriage of convenience where it's just for the court necessities. So this one will be interesting. I think it will be a cute little fantasy romance rom-com. Hopefully that's where it's going with. I mean, look at this picture right here. Is that not the cutest? I'm excited to read it. This art pretty much sold me. The next one I want to read is Curse and Craving by Jill Ramsor. I'm really excited about this one. It sounds really good. I guess we have our new heroine who ended up getting, I think she landed a new job, but unfortunately for her, it didn't allow her to contain her magic because her magic is very like deadly. I guess it's deadly and monstrous, and she's having trouble containing it, and she has to enlist the help of the Fae. So she ends up going to the head of the Fae warriors, Lucian, and I guess he's very arrogant, but she has to enlist his help to help her retain this magic, to help her not hurt anybody, because I guess the magic is too much for her to contain herself. She needs to train on how to control her own magic. So I guess that's the premise of this one. I'm really excited. I got this one from Wanderlust. I've wanted to kick into it for the longest time. I feel like I've been putting it off. I've been putting off, and now is the time. Last one is Lullaby Scars by Holly Mans. I think this is the novella that starts the series out. So I think this is a 3-book series. What I've gotten from the premise is he's kind of our scarred hero, and he has been an indentured servant of the High Mage for a while, just because he's been scarred and he just doesn't want people to look too closely at his scars. So he ends up running into our heroine, thinking that she's a temptress outside of a brothel. Unfortunately for our main hero, our heroine is not that. She's actually running from her father, and she's trying to get the High Mage to marry her so she can kind of escape that life and start a new life. So that's what I got the premise of this book. Hopefully I didn't slur that too much, but I'm excited to kick into this one. It sounds really good. You definitely have powers, you have magic, you have intrigue. She's trying to fake her magic at some point in time, which I thought was really interesting. So I'd like to see what ends up happening with this one. Okay, this one is an honorable mention, and I hope I'm able to get to this one. The next one is Vesperin by Rogerson. I really did enjoy some of the other books she has done in the past, but I wanted to give this one a go. I guess it's about a nun, and her convent ends up being attacked, and the only way to protect her convent is by unleashing this ancient spirit that will help them protect it. But unfortunately for her, this spirit tries to possess our main heroine. But fortunately enough for our main heroine, she is a wielder of extraordinary power. But death has come, and she is a Vesparian priestess, and only a high-ranking Vesparian priestess can handle these ancient relics, and fortunately for them, that is she. So this sounds really interesting. I'm excited to kick into this one. Hopefully I get to it this month, because I know by the time this month is over, I tend to go towards contemporary historicals, because once I've done a month of fantasy romance, I've kind of gotten burnt out, and then I wait till a couple months and then I'll kick into some more fantasy romance. So hopefully some of these sound really interesting to you guys, and please let me know down below what you guys might be reading for Fantasy Romance February. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.